Same day pizza dough. Everybody says it can't taste as good as the stuff you let sit for 3 days. Today we're going to find out if that's true. I made 3 doughs, one the classic way, 3 days in the fridge, and then I made one with malt powder and one with honey. All 3 of those are going to be tested. Winner takes the belt. Now let's get our hands dirty. So what you have in front of me is my mise en place. I didn't want to bore you with the measuring, but basically I have 175 grams of flour, 114 grams of water, and it's important that we use warm water. This is going to be a same day dough recipe, so we really want to get that yeast up and running. If we're going to do a 3-day cold ferment, it's okay to use cold water because it's going in the fridge anyways. So we're going to do a 114 grams of warm water. I've got 2.5 grams of yeast, which is a lot of yeast. But again, we're doing a same day dough and we need more yeast. If it was a longer period of time, we use less yeast. But I'm throwing a little bit of olive oil in, only 5 milliliters, just enough to give it a little bit of coloring. Probably not much of a flavor, but also will help in the tenderness of the crust. Then I'm going to use 4 grams of salt in each. And the difference is use a diastatic malt powder in one and honey in the other one. Diastatic malt powder is something that is very easy to find. You can get it on Amazon, maybe some specialty grocery stores. But if you don't have it, I'm sure you got honey, and that's where we're going to use honey. And we're going to compare the two. So if you have a stand mixer, it's fine to use. If you don't, this is perfectly acceptable to do by hand. Now keep in mind, I'm making very small batches. So what I'm doing is I'm going to make a 300 gram dough ball, which is enough for a 12-inch pizza. And I'm going to make 2 of them right now. I will put the recipe in if you want to make a 14-inch pizza or a 16-inch pizza, which is probably the biggest you're going to make in a home oven anyways. And I will scale the recipe up for that. And also I'm doing, again, 2 300 gram dough balls. If this is going to be one recipe, normally I would just make 600 grams and divide it in half. But since one's going to have malt, one's going to have honey, I want to run them separately. Stand mixers work really well for that, but sometimes you got to scrape because they don't always reach the bottom. Or you do it by hand. We have we're going to add in our flour. We're going to add in our water. And we're going to stir that up. Give it a chance to get to know each other. Then we can throw in the malt, the salt. We can throw in the olive oil. We'll get that going. And again, if you're using a stand mixer, there's really no need to do this. I'm not putting in the yeast just yet. Some people will be like, why don't you put it in now? You should wait. With this amount of salt, this amount of yeast, not a huge deal. But I'm going to keep it separate just for a bit. And then we just combine it. I'm going to throw my yeast right in here, get that going, and then we're just going to knead it in. And really my goal here is to make it easy. I just want to do pizza for the average person. All right, so we're good here. I got a can. I have it labeled, especially because I'm doing a comparison. We're going to spray the can. I'm sorry. Spray the can. We're going to put it in there. We're going to cover it up. And we're going to let it go for about 2 hours. It's going to probably close to double in size. So we want to put it in a warm place without a draft. So not near an air duct, near air conditioning. Maybe not near a window because the sun could change the temperature. My ovens have proofing features, so I put it on proof. It keeps it at a constant temperature, which is ideal. But if you don't have a proofing feature in your oven, which I guess most people don't, you can just throw it on top of your oven. Maybe cover it with a couple towels. So we used to do in the old days. I remember my grandmother always seeing her breads covered like that. And I'm going to set a timer for 2 hours. So what do we do in our downtime? I'm going to show you how I make my tomato sauce. And here I have a 28-ounce can of whole tomatoes. These are San Marzanos. I had them in the cabinet. You don't need to use San Marzanos. Try different brands. See which ones you like. California makes some really great, tomatoes. I like buying them whole and then crushing them in a food mill. I can control the consistency. But you can just buy a can of fully crushed tomatoes. That's perfectly acceptable too. And then this should not take that long. And like I said, I'm trying to keep things incredibly easy for you. And I'm also one who does not like a lot of seasoning in my tomato sauce. So my tomatoes, when they go on pizza, are going to go on uncooked. They're going to cook in the oven with the dough. But I only like a little bit of salt. So per 28 ounces, probably about 2 teaspoons of salt. But what's important is that you taste it. And if you taste it and there's some acidity in there, maybe you throw a little bit of sugar in, not so much for the sweetness, but to offset the acidity. And then you can also throw in Italian seasoning, basil, dried basil, roasted garlic, dried garlic. I'm giving you a blank slate to create whatever kind of pizza you want. I like it very basic, so this final product is going to be a 12-inch pizza with sauce, fresh sauce, with a little bit of salt, and some freshly grated cheese, which we'll get into next. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what to do there. They're going to splash, so you want to be careful. Put this through my food mill. And if you don't have one, it's okay to crush these by hands. It's actually kind of a fun thing to do. I will tell you, maybe take a towel and squeeze under the towel because these things will squirt. And as you can see here, my kitchen is white and gray. And there's been many times where I have tomatoes that have splattered all over the place. So, with that said, always want to cover it. We'll have a spatula. See that? We definitely want to scrape all that stuff down because we do not want to lose all that goodness. Grab a tablespoon. It's good. Definitely needs some salt. So like I say, about 2 teaspoons per 28-ounce can. I'm going to give that a good stir. If you're going to be tasting a lot, maybe get 2 spoons and you can kind of pour it on. That way this one never touches the sauce. And you're not going to go through spoons. Yep, it's right there. It's where it needs to be. So, that's it for tomato sauce. So I am going to cover this. When you're making pizza, very easy to go to the store and grab pre-shredded mozzarella, which is fine if that's all you have. But I will say for that type of mozzarella and cheese, they put in non-caking agents. It's not the best thing for pizza. It affects its meltability. So I like to buy the block. And then we're going to use the large side. And we're just going to grate. And if you feel like it's getting too mushy, throw it back in the fridge or freeze it for a little bit. Oh, it's been about 2 hours. Pull it out. So this is the malted one. Turn it out here. And like I said before, if you're doing the bulk ferment and then you're going to divide after that, this would be, let's say, 600 grams. I'd weigh it, divide it into 2, and then degas it and reball it. I'm only doing 1 300-gram malt. I'm doing 1 300-gram with honey, but it's still important to kind of degas it. It's going to help build up that structure. So I lay it out flat, kind of pop it out, and then bring it in. Pinch it up. If I need to use that, just kind of do that. And then I like to use the friction and pull it towards me. Then I get a nice tight skin. Pop it back in. And now this time I'm not going to put it back in the proofing oven. I'm going to set it on the countertop because it's about 70 degrees in my kitchen right now. And I don't really need the aggressive heat. When I say aggressive, I mean my proofing oven's about 80, 90 degrees. I'm gonna let it sit there for about an hour, about 2 hours. An hour into this, I'm going to turn my oven on to 550. I have 2 pizza steels in the oven, which I will show you in a bit. And I'll turn it up to 550, which is the maximum my oven will go. All right, so it's been about an hour. I've got my dough proof up nicely behind me. And now we're going to assemble a pizza. So what I have here is a little bit of all-purpose flour. I don't like to go heavy with it, but it's a good way to just kind of coat it. So this is my 72-hour dough. We're gonna dump it right in there. And then we're gonna do this. We don't want too much dough on it, or flour. And we're gonna push it down. And what I like to do is kind of just go around the edges, you know. And there's different ways you can do this, but we're just gonna keep it simple. So we're pushing out the edges, trying to push the air out. So we have a nice size cornicione, which is that lip, which is around the outside of the pizza. And we don't want to push it too far, right? And then from here, we're gonna let gravity do the work. And again, remember, these are 12-inch pizzas. So we don't want it to be too big. And I have my trusty ruler just to make sure, so we got some more to go. And this is the best way to do it. We want to get it thin, but not too thin, all right? And we're at about 12 inches. And remember, having a round pizza is great, but shape has no flavor. Then I take a wooden peel, which I like to build my pizzas actually on the peel. And then I take some semolina, some fine semolina, and I put it on the peel. And then I rub it into the peel. And nice and good. Those act as little ball bearings. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put the pizza down here. Give it a little jiggle, see it sticking back here. I could feel it. All right. Now it looks like it's kind of contracted a little bit. Yes. So we're gonna give it one more. There we go. Perfecto. I like to do a 4-ounce. So I take my 4-ounce ladle, pour it right in the middle. And then we go as far out to the edge as we can get. Start in the middle, swirl it. And I would say get closer to the edge than you think you want. You can always stretch it out a little bit. Then I take some grated pecorino romano. And we're just gonna, just a pinch, nice even spread. And then for this size pizza, I like about 4 ounces of shredded, so I have them pre-measured. You know, I kind of start at the outside, work my way around. And again, this is a personal preference. You do as much or as little cheese as you want. Like I said, I think 4 ounces is good for a 12-inch pizza. That looks good. See, I'm sticking a little bit there. So I'm gonna dust it a little bit. There we go. And then I'm gonna finish it with a little bit of olive oil. And then it's gonna go in the oven. Like I said, I've got 2 steels that have been heating at 550. And we're gonna go up here. Difference really would be in the bite of the crust. Mm-hmm. I gotta tell you, this is a difficult choice. Do you have a favorite?
Yeah.
Which one?
This one.
Number 2 is your favorite?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that one, and then that one.
So your order is 2, 3, 1.
Yeah.
I think I agree.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, I think the sauce and cheese part, they're all about the same.
Yeah.
All right, so your last place pick was the malt. That was in third place. Your second place was the honey. So the first place, as we would suspect, is the
3-day.
Is the 3-day dough, which you would expect that would have the most flavor. But I gotta tell you, the honey.
The honey was actually good. Like that, it was in between those. Like.
Yeah, I think the honey, if you're gonna do same day, I think I'd stick with the honey.
I thought the honey wasn't gonna be good.
Yeah, and you don't taste the honey. You don't taste any sweetness.
Yeah, I thought it'd be weird.
But it definitely has the taste of a longer fermented dough. And the malt is good. I just would have expected a little bit more browning, but the browning all looks about the same. You can see a little bit more char here just because there's uneven heating in the oven and we have to turn it. But yeah, so there you have it. 3-day, obviously we knew was going to be number 1, but if you're going to choose between malt and honey, our pick is honey.
Yeah.
All right. Hope you enjoyed that, and stick around for the next video. Buon appetito.